Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our last news is Liverpool striker sends timely reminder to Arne Slot after Alexander Isak transfer. Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike look set to battle it out for Liverpool's number 9 position this season, but Arne Slot has another striker who is catching the eye once again. All eyes will be on Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike when Liverpool returns from the international break, although there is another striker eager to make his mark at Anfield this season. The Reds went all out to strengthen their options in the number 9 role as Darwin Núñez departed for Saudi Arabia, with Ekitike arriving from Eintracht Frankfurt before the Premier League transfer record was broken for a second time in the same summer for Isac. The latter is expected to become the first choice option following his $169 million move, although Ekitike has already made a compelling case to lead the line, having scored 3 times in 4 games this season. That leaves Arne Slot with a big decision to make when his players return from international duty in a few days' time, and he still has another frontman in reserve who has been catching the eye. Jadon Danns will be hoping for a better season this time around, having struggled with injuries during the 2024-25 campaign that prevented him from heading out on loan to Plymouth. It also stopped him from making a single appearance for Sunderland during the second half of the season. The 19-year-old, who first came to prominence after impressing during Jurgen Klopp's final campaign, already looks to be enjoying better fortunes, having made 2 appearances for Liverpool U21s so far this season and earning a call-up for England's U20s. Danns captained the Young Lions against Italy on Friday. Although England fell to a 2-1 defeat in Chesterfield, the Liverpool Academy star did his hopes of getting more opportunities under Slot no harm as he scored for his country, providing a tidy finish to equalise shortly after the visitors' opener. Liverpool's home and away strips for the 2025-26 season are the first in their new partnership with Adidas. Fans can order jerseys in the US at fanatics.com or via the LFC online store in both the US and across the world. Having stayed put during the summer transfer window, Danns will now be hoping he can catch Slot's eye over the coming months and get more opportunities to stake a claim for more first-team opportunities. With Isac and Ekitike likely to battle it out for the number 9 role in the Premier League and Champions League, the teenager's best chance for senior game time is likely to come in the Carabao Cup. The Reds face Southampton in the 3rd round on September 23 as they begin their quest for a 3rd Wembley appearance in as many years. Liverpool will also aim to go one better than last season after defeat to Newcastle in the final. Stay tuned for more updates. Our second news is why Liverpool will definitely not come back in for Marc Guehi in January as Ibrahima Konate update issued. Liverpool supporters are perhaps finished with thinking about transfers for the time being after a busy summer in the market. However, just because the window is now closed, it does not mean that behind-the-scenes work is not already being done ahead of 2026. One of the more probable deals that Liverpool are likely to be involved in next year surrounds Marc Guehi, who saw a move to Anfield dashed at the final moment on transfer deadline day. Reports indicated that Guehi had completed a medical with Liverpool, or at least part of it, before Crystal Palace decided they could not let him leave. While that was disappointing for both Guehi and Liverpool, his current club have simply delayed the inevitable. With his contract set to end at the end of the season, and suggestions that he will not sign another, Palace's only chance to sell the defender will come in the January window. It has already been claimed that Liverpool are likely to be in for Guehi next year. However, according to a new report from The Times, this will not be in January. Liverpool won't pay for Marc Guehi transfer. After Liverpool agreed to a deal worth £35 million for Guehi to join them, it had looked as though they had got themselves a bargain. Crystal Palace rejected a bid of around £70 million for the 25-year-old in January 2025, and Liverpool felt the fee was fair for a player with 1 year left on his contract. However, The Times claim that they will not return to sign Guehi for any kind of fee in January. The Reds are reportedly adamant that they will not pay for a player who they can get for nothing 6 months later. Liverpool are said to be happy with their centre-back options for the time being, and will not be making a signing, especially not Guehi, mid-season. If the England international is still keen on joining the Premier League champions, he will reportedly have to do it as a free agent next summer. Liverpool will not beg Ibrahima Konate to stay. Guehi's arrival seems at least in part linked to the future of Ibrahima Konate. Just like the Palace captain, Konate is out of contract next summer. And with the Times providing an update on Guehi, they also include a sliver of information on the Liverpool centre-back. It is claimed that contract talks with Konate remain at an impasse, with the Frenchman continuing to attract interest from Real Madrid. Liverpool are still said to be hoping to keep Konate, but, interestingly, will not beg anyone to remain at Anfield. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is Paul Joyce, big update on Liverpool signing Crystal Palace defender Guehi. Liverpool are not expected to try and sign Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi in January and will only try and bring him in on a free transfer next summer, according to the Times reporter Paul Joyce. Guehi appeared close to joining Liverpool in the summer transfer window, with GivenSport's senior correspondent Fabrizio Romano confirming that a deal had been agreed on deadline day. A move collapsed late on, with Palace unable to find a replacement, despite Guehi even completing a medical with Arne Slot's side. Liverpool will have the opportunity to swoop in and sign Guehi for nothing next summer if he continues to be unwilling to sign a new deal and another club doesn't secure his signature in January. The Reds did manage to bring in a new centre-back in the summer with Giovanni Leone joining the club, but the young defender isn't likely to make an immediate impact like perhaps Guehi would. With Ibrahima Konate also out of contract next summer, Liverpool have some decisions to make with their backline. According to a report from the Times journalist Joyce, Liverpool will not revisit their interest in Guehi during the January transfer window, and they will only look to sign him on a free transfer next summer. The England international's move to Anfield collapsed on deadline day, despite the Merseyside club agreeing a £35 million deal. Joyce claims that Liverpool are adamant that they won't enter the January market for a player who is going to be available for nothing in the summer, with Guehi not signing a new contract at Selhurst Park. The Reds will undoubtedly be hoping that since Guehi was willing to join the club in the summer transfer window on deadline day, that he will also be keen when his deal expires next year, and they can save themselves £35 million. It's a tricky situation for the Eagles who won't want to lose one of their star players for nothing, but they've left it too late to receive a significant fee to allow him to depart. Steve Parish will be hoping another club arrives at the table in January to offer a fee, but there's a strong chance that Guehi only wants to make the move to Liverpool. Alexander Isak reacts after his £130 million Liverpool move sparks huge debate. Arne Slot gets a timely reminder from Liverpool striker after Isak's arrival. Paul Joyce drops a major update on Liverpool's interest in Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi. Ibrahima Konate makes a cheeky Real Madrid transfer joke after Kylian Mbappe's latest move. Plus, the bombshell verdict on Liverpool's £24 million signing. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our fourth news is £24 million Liverpool signing given bombshell verdict. Liverpool have a particularly large squad because, like their competitors, the ambition is to compete on all four fronts, and squad depth is massively important to challenge for success. However, the obvious downside is that not everyone gets to play, since you can only field 11 players and there is a limit to the number of substitutions Arne Slot can make. If you find yourself behind one of the players with long-term success in their time at Liverpool, then you're unlikely to get minutes. This certainly appears to be the case with goalkeepers, as the Reds have three sitting behind Alisson Becker, which is possibly the worst place to be, given how well known the Brazilian is for his ability. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. When it comes to goalkeeping, it's unlike any other position. Players need rhythm, and since Alisson is taking the spotlight at Liverpool, Mamardashvili is missing out on having time between the posts. As such, it should come to no surprise that he delivered an underwhelming display for Georgia on Thursday when his international side came up against Turkey and lost 3-2. His side's defense were shaky, which is never a great platform for a keeper to succeed from, but he didn't make a single save. 3 shots were taken at the keeper's goal and all 3 result in a goal, really disappointing. But since he's had no match experience since pre-season, this probably could have been predicted. Rousing the Cop wrote an article on the fans' reaction to his efforts, and a lot of people were concerned by his display, including some questioning why Liverpool signed him in the first place. Of course, one bad game isn't the making of anyone, but the goalkeeper might struggle to find his level if he's left to rot on the bench for most of the season until Alisson gets injured in some way. As such, it might be more beneficial to find a way to loan him out or give him experience by playing in the academy until he needs to be called upon, because this current situation feels untenable. He was initially loaned out last season, while Koeman Kelleher was the deputy for the Brazilian, but now the Irishman has gone on to pastures new. The Georgian has taken up his role on the sidelines. In time, Mamardashvili will get minutes and he'll believe he can displace Alisson, but until such a time comes, he's going to struggle. No game time will result in no confidence, making it unlikely for Slot to consider giving him minutes. It's a viscous and never-ending circle until he manages to break through. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our 5th news is Ibrahima Konate makes Real Madrid transfer joke after Kylian Mbappe shows preference. Liverpool defender Ibrahima Konate has been strongly linked with a move to Real Madrid with less than a year remaining on his contract, and has now opened up on discussions with French teammate Kylian Mbappe. Liverpool defender Ibrahima Konate has joked Kylian Mbappe calls him every 2 hours, as links to Real Madrid ramp up. The Frenchman is out of contract at Liverpool at the end of the season. As it stands, there is no sign of a renewed deal, and should that be allowed to expire, Konate would be available for free in less than a year's time, Real Madrid reportedly among the clubs aiming to take advantage of that fact. And Konate has now teased that he is in talks with Madrid star Mbappe every single day. Asked on Telefoot if Mbappe had attempted to convince him to move to Spain, he joked, "He calls me every 2 hours." Meanwhile, Konaté was then asked if he was able to speak Spanish, replying with an emphatic no. Intriguingly, Mbappe has already name-checked Liverpool during the current international break. Asked to give his verdict on the Premier League this season, he was under no illusions that the Reds and Konate will be challengers for the title. Of course, Liverpool has to be mentioned first and foremost, as they're determined to win one title after another, he said in an interview with Bild. But I also have high hopes for Arsenal, because the core of the team has known each other for a long time, and that's a crucial factor in football. And Manchester City is always at the forefront anyway, with Pep Guardiola and Erling Haaland. Asked for his prediction about the eventual champions, he replied, "That's tough. Maybe Arsenal, maybe it will be their year. It would certainly be easier to say City or Liverpool." Elsewhere, Konate has already broken his silence regarding his future. Speaking earlier this summer, he said, "You know, I just want to say one thing. Everything you saw on social media is completely fake. I didn't even ask for something from the club. They made me an offer, and I replied to them with something. That is it. The rest, speculation, that I want to wait until the end, I want this, all of it is completely fake." And even the big journalists said in November, "I am very close to signing the deal." I was like, they have more information than me. Because it was not true at that moment, and that is why I was a little bit mad, because it was not true at this moment. I knew at one moment people would think I didn't want to sign the contract, but I was never close to signing it. We will see what will happen. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our last news is not true. Newcastle United star hits back at Alexander Isak claim after £130 million Liverpool move. Several Newcastle United players have spoken about Alexander Isak's move to Liverpool. Emil Croft has rubbished suggestions that Newcastle United's dressing room is divided over Alexander Isak's departure. Isac went on strike at Newcastle this summer and got his desired outcome on transfer deadline day after joining Liverpool for a British record £130 million. It came after Isac sat out of the club's pre-season tour of Asia and then refused to reintegrate into the squad ahead of the new Premier League season. The 25-year-old trained alone at the club's Benton training ground and left Eddie Howe's side without an experienced striker, a big factor in why they are still searching for their first victory of the campaign. Isak's conduct has left a bitter taste in the mouths of supporters, and that feeling was captured by the football club. In a statement confirming the Swede's sale, there was no mention of his goals and no thank you or well wishes. Emil Croft comments on Alexander Isak's Newcastle United. There have been split views over the Isac saga, but there has been no split in the dressing room, according to international teammate Emil Croft. Croft and Anthony Elanga are currently on Sweden duty and have both commented on Isak's exit. There were many who wanted to see Alex stay, but you understand how football works, Croft told Swedish newspaper Sportbladet. I wish him all the best in the future. For me, Alex is not just a footballer, but a close friend too. The media wrote that the locker room would be divided. That is certainly not true. Football players understand football players, and we can only wish him the best of luck. As Anthony Elanga said, it has been very chill. No one has said or done anything. It is just taken out of thin air. You understand his and the club's situation. Of course, they would have wanted to keep him, he is an incredibly good football player. What Dan Burn said about Alexander Isak's exit. Geordie defender Dan Burn arguably has the deepest connection to Newcastle within squad, and he too said he held no animosity towards Isac. I am glad it is done, Burn admitted, via BBC Sport. We wanted the transfer window closed to have a bit of clarity on it. I have been in football long enough to understand that for a player, the careers are short and they have got things they want to achieve. Alex is a mate and it is a tough situation because you want him to be around and helping the team, but also understand for him what he needs to do personally. I have nothing but good wishes for Alex. No animosity. As a Newcastle fan, we are very protective of our club and city, and we want players to be there who want to play for Newcastle, and you don't want them to naively think that there is anywhere else to go apart from Newcastle. So I understand why our fans are frustrated. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news, rumors, and confirmed deals. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update, because at LFC Transfer HQ, you'll never walk alone.